The year is 1948. The echoes of World War II have barely faded, yet a new conflict brews, the Cold War. Europe, scarred and weary, finds itself divided. Nowhere is this division more stark than in Berlin. The once proud capital of Germany lies in ruins, a shattered symbol of the war's devastation. The city is an island within Soviet-occupied East Germany, its fate hanging precariously in the balance. Berlin is divided into 4 sectors, controlled by the victorious Allied powers, the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Yet mistrust and ideological differences simmer beneath the surface. The United States and its allies champion democracy and capitalism, while the Soviet Union, under the iron fist of Joseph Stalin, promotes communism. Berlin becomes a microcosm of this global standoff, a focal point of tension in a world on the brink. The fragile peace is shattered in June 1948. Stalin, determined to consolidate his grip on Eastern Europe, makes a bold and ruthless move. He orders a blockade of all land and water routes into West Berlin, effectively cutting off the city from the outside world. His aim is clear: to starve the West Berliners into submission and force the Western Allies to abandon their outpost in the heart of Soviet-controlled territory. The situation is dire. Over 2 million West Berliners face the terrifying prospect of isolation and starvation. Food, fuel, and medicine dwindle with each passing day. The very survival of West Berlin hangs by a thread. The world watches anxiously, wondering if the Cold War will escalate into a hot conflict. Will the Western Allies back down, ceding Berlin to the Soviets? Or will they find a way to defy Stalin's blockade and keep hope alive in the beleaguered city? The imposition of the Berlin blockade was not a sudden, impulsive act. It was the culmination of mounting tensions and strategic calculations by Stalin and the Soviet Union. In the aftermath of World War II, Europe was carved up into spheres of influence, with the Iron Curtain descending firmly across the continent. Stalin, driven by a combination of paranoia and a desire to expand Soviet power, saw the presence of the Western Allies in Berlin as a thorn in his side. The blockade, which began on June 24, 1948, was a calculated gamble. Stalin believed that by severing all land and water access to West Berlin, he could force the Western powers into a humiliating retreat. The city, heavily reliant on supplies from the West, was particularly vulnerable to such a tactic. Food, coal, medicine, and other essential goods flowed into the city through a complex network of roads, railways, and canals, all of which were now under Soviet control. The impact on West Berlin was immediate and devastating. Shops quickly emptied as dwindling supplies were rationed. Electricity was severely curtailed, plunging the city into darkness for hours each day. Hospitals struggled to function with limited resources. The psychological toll on the population was immense, as fear and uncertainty gripped the city. Families huddled together in dimly lit apartments, wondering if they would have enough food to survive the coming days and weeks. The international community reacted with alarm and condemnation. The United States and its allies denounced the blockade as a violation of international agreements and a blatant attempt to starve the West Berliners into submission. The world held its breath, wondering how the West would respond. Would they risk a military confrontation with the Soviet Union to break the blockade? Or would they be forced to abandon West Berlin to its fate, dealing a major blow to the credibility of the West and emboldening Soviet expansionism? Faced with the daunting task of supplying an entire city by air, the United States and its allies embarked on an audacious and unprecedented undertaking, the Berlin Airlift, codenamed Operation Vittles. It was a gamble on a massive scale, a logistical nightmare that demanded unwavering determination, ingenuity, and a touch of audacity. The operation swung into action with remarkable speed. Within days of the blockade's imposition, American and British transport planes began to descend upon Tempelhof Airport in West Berlin, their cargo holds laden with food, medicine, coal, and other essential supplies. The roar of aircraft engines became a constant soundtrack to life in the city, a symbol of hope amidst the despair. The scale of the operation was staggering. At its peak, a plane was landing in West Berlin every minute, day and night. The work was relentless, a testament to the skill and dedication of the pilots and ground crews who braved harsh weather conditions and fatigue to keep the Lifeline open. Over 275,000 flights were made during the airlift, carrying over 2.3 million tons of supplies to West Berlin. The success of the airlift hinged on meticulous planning and coordination. Every aspect, from flight schedules and cargo manifests to aircraft maintenance and fuel logistics, was meticulously managed. New airfields were constructed in West Berlin to accommodate the influx of aircraft, and ground crews worked tirelessly to unload cargo and ready planes for their return flights. The operation became a marvel of efficiency, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and cooperation in the face of adversity. Beyond the impressive logistics of the Berlin Airlift, it was the human element that truly captured the spirit of this extraordinary endeavor. Ordinary people, both in the air and on the ground, displayed remarkable resilience, compassion, and a touch of whimsy that transcended the grim realities of the Cold War. One such individual was Gail Halvorson, an American pilot who became known as the Candy Bomber. Touched by the plight of the children of West Berlin, Halvorson began dropping small parachutes filled with candy from his plane as he made his approach to Tempelhof Airport. What started as a small gesture of kindness quickly captured the imagination of the children and became a symbol of hope and friendship. Halvorson's actions inspired other pilots to follow suit, and soon Operation Little Vittles was born. Children across West Berlin eagerly awaited the arrival of the Raisin Bombers, their eyes scanning the sky for the telltale signs of candy-laden parachutes. The candy drops became a powerful symbol of the airlift's humanitarian mission, reminding the world that this was not just about geopolitics, but about the lives of real people, especially the most vulnerable. The spirit of the airlift was also evident in the actions of the West Berliners themselves. Despite facing hardship and uncertainty, they displayed remarkable resilience and determination. They rallied around the airlift, volunteering their time and resources to support the operation. They formed bucket brigades to help unload cargo, donated land for new airfields, and offered words of encouragement to the weary pilots and ground crews. The airlift became a shared endeavor, a testament to the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. The Soviet Union, determined to expand its influence, made several bold moves during this period. However, the Allies, resolute and unwavering, stood firm against these advances. It was a time of intense geopolitical maneuvering where every action was met with a calculated response. The resolve of the Allied forces showcased their commitment to maintaining a balance of power. Despite the pressures, they remained steadfast, ensuring that the Soviet attempts did not go unchecked. This chapter highlights the critical moments of this standoff, reflecting the tenacity and strategic acumen of the Allied leadership. As the months passed, the resilience of the Berliners and the determination of the Allies began to show results. By May 1949, the Soviet Union realized the blockade was not going to force the Allies out of Berlin. The blockade was lifted, marking a significant victory for the Allied forces and the people of West Berlin. The Berlin Airlift had far-reaching consequences, shaping the geopolitical landscape of the Cold War. It solidified the division of Germany into East and West, and it also demonstrated the resolve of the Western Allies to stand against Soviet aggression. This event became a powerful symbol of the ideological struggle between democracy and communism. The success of the Berlin Airlift left a lasting legacy. It not only provided immediate relief to the people of West Berlin, but also showcased the power of international cooperation. The airlift is remembered as a testament to the strength and solidarity of the Allied forces, and it continues to inspire efforts towards humanitarian aid and global unity. Today, the Berlin Airlift is commemorated in various ways, from memorials and museums to annual ceremonies. It serves as a reminder of the courage and determination of those who took part in the operation. The story of the Berlin Airlift remains a poignant chapter in history, illustrating the triumph of human spirit in the face of adversity.